It's finally happened. What we have been waiting months for. It's the here we go for Edson Alvarez for his move to West Ham. I've got all the latest news, my thoughts about the deal coming next right here on West Ham Unofficial. Well, there we go then. So it has, it's been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. This is what he has just put on Twitter about half an hour ago. And it reads, Edson Alvarez to West Ham. Here we go. A verbal agreement has been reached with Ajax for a total for a total package of around 34 to 35 million pounds as a fee. Alvarez will fly to London in the next 24 hours in order to undergo medical tests and sign the contract. We heard on Saturday from Romano that we have agreed personal terms, and Alvarez was ready to go as soon as the fee was agreed. So there seemed to be almost an element of inevitability with it. You know, we heard that he's agreed personal terms, and we heard that he was ready to go as soon as the deal was agreed. So we knew that something was going on alongside, of course, the personal terms. You know, there was obviously some confidence that we'd get the deal done. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gone straight in with personal terms and got that sorted. Otherwise, it would have been a waste of time. So there was obviously some optimism in the West Ham camp that we could have reached an agreement, and it looks like we have done with a verbal agreement. And you know, that's what they wanted, around 34 to 35 million pounds, and that's what they're going to get. And I think both sides are getting a good deal. He obviously wanted to leave Ajax, otherwise he wouldn't have been so ready to, you know, come to London and be so ready to come. So he obviously wanted to leave Ajax. They've got a decent amount of money for him. And yesterday they signed a replacement for him. So like a good football club, they signed a replacement before they let the player go. So, you know, maybe we should take a leaf out of their book. But no, all joking aside, it's taken a hell of a long time. It's been a tough ride. It's been annoying. It's been infuriating, and sometimes just sat there thinking, how and why are we doing this? But it now seems like we're getting the ball rolling. It's all right. We only start the Premier League season on Saturday. Listen, he's not gonna be ready for Saturday. 24 hours. He's going to get to London. He's going to do his medical test. We'll sort of analyse his fitness and see what sort of position he's in to game time, and get him as soon as possible straight into that midfield. Because, well, if that Bayer Leverkusen game wasn't a wake-up call, I don't know what was. I watched most of it painfully. I watched most of it, and we got completely outdone in a midfield that had been mustered up and created by the very man that we've got as our technical director, Tim Steidten. Now, that if there was any optimism to take out of that, we just got to look and see what Tim Steidten created there at Bayer Leverkusen, which is now a very good, well-functioning football team. Hopefully he can do that with us, and I'm convinced this is probably a Tim Steidten recommendation. You know, that's just a guess from me. I've got absolutely no idea, but you think that it's probably coming from Tim Steidten, this one, and looks like finally Moyes is listening to him. And we've got one of his players in. And I hope him next to Paqueta, maybe one more quality midfielder. Then we've got a midfield taking shape that hopefully we can build a team around effectively. And that's all we needed. You know, there's a bit of optimism in the fan base now. You know, the fan base after that Leverkusen game, you know, there's so much negativity around. And I'm not blaming the fan base, because I was part of that. You know, I was worried after that Leverkusen game. And don't get me wrong, I still am, because this doesn't fix every problem. This geezer might be absolutely awful, but we've signed him for a reason. You know, we've spent a long time trying to sign a midfielder. Now, sometimes that makes absolutely no difference. It took us 2 years to sign a striker. We signed Skamaka, and he was just the same as the other 21 that have been signed under this regime. So sometimes time doesn't always bring quality. But having said that, we've got to have confidence in him. We spent £35 million on him. He's played Champions League football. He's played European football at the highest level. We're going to go through some of his stats very, very shortly. But I've got 18 comments, so I'm going to take some of your comments. Keep your comments coming in and see what you guys say. Spectacular. It certainly is good news. Afternoon to everyone. It is only 4 weeks late. It is 4 weeks late, but there's nothing we can do about that now. And we've got a player in, and hopefully he's going to do a good job for us. Ken says, afternoon, Jake. Have you heard anything about Fofana? Seems to have gone quite well. We heard that Steiden and Moyes were at the Emirates Cup game where he starred in that game against Arsenal, but we haven't really heard anything since then. Maybe it's because they were working on this Alvarez deal. We've heard that we could go in and sign a midfielder nearing more Moyes' targets, maybe a Scott McTominay. I'll be surprised if we go out and sign Fofana as well, because what a midfield that would be. Alvarez, Fofana and Paqueta, that would be good. But it's all gone quiet. I've maybe put that down to us having full focus on this Alvarez deal, so maybe we've looked at him and went, we prefer Alvarez, and that's what we've gone for. I don't know. That's just a guessing game. Fathead, let's go. And now, please, can the toxic fan negativity abate for a few days? I'm happy. I'm chuffed. We've made this. Well, we haven't made a signing yet, but when you get here, we go from Fabrizio Romano. Darmesh has sort of said it as well. There's an agreement in principle ready to go. Then things are relatively positive. Curtis, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Alan, great start, but now we have to follow up. We do need to follow it up with a fullback, another midfielder, and a striker, in my opinion. If we get all that by Saturday, I'll be absolutely astounded. But you know, the window's open to the 1st of September. Of course, we would have all liked to make these signs a month ago to get them bed in, to let them go on the pre-season tour. But it's just West Ham. We never make things easy for ourselves. We've always got to do it a difficult way for some apparent reason that's beyond me. So we're in this position now. It's no good dwelling on the past. If we sign players, I'm going to be chuffed, and hopefully they can do a job. I'm going to support them in that West Ham shirt. Thank you very much indeed, everybody, for joining us this afternoon, mate. I hope you are well. I've play him jet lagged the way we played Saturday. Well, yeah, let's get him in there. Get him in there straight away. Hopefully, if he's anywhere near fitness, get him in there alongside Paqueta. Just it gives the fan base a lift. The very few that are going down to Bournemouth on Saturday, it's going to give them a lift and say, we signed this geezer, see what he's like. It's going to be a bit different to Souček and Downs, what we know that's going to happen. It's the same crap in there. We've got something different, something for Paqueta to play with, finally, which is the key thing, and it should lift us a bit, and hopefully it should lift us. Maybe 25 years old, should be reaching his peak. Of course, he'll probably take time to adapt, but let's hope this player can come in, maybe hit the ground running, a couple of really good performances, get his confidence up, a couple of assists maybe, to really get his West Ham career kicked off and started straight away. Wacky Mackie says, Jake, are you Moyes out? If we have the start to the season that we did last season, then I will be, but I'm going to give him a chance. I'm going to give him a chance to about 6 or 7 games. If we find ourselves in a similar position to last season, then I will be once again asking questions. Phil says, hi everyone, about Blimmin' time. We got a signing in. Couldn't have Vanessa Gold as our only signing. Exactly. We've made the signing. Thank God for that. And hopefully now it can be all wrapped up. There's no medical issues. Hopefully that'd be typical West Ham. We've made the signing. Oh, he's failed his medical. That would be typical, wouldn't it? But let's hope we can sign the contract. No drama. Get it done in the next 24 hours. Get it announced. Get him training and get him hitting the ground running. £32 million plus 2 million add-ons for Alvarez. Until I see him in the claret and blue with his arms crossed, hammer style, I won't be believing it. Fair enough. But we've had it from our top sources, and let's hope they're right. Let's hope they are right. Ken says, Terry, I'm a bit like you. Borges was supposed to be done. Very true. But let's hope finally now. Michael says, Fabrizio is saying 5 more signings. But hell, 5 more. Could you imagine that? Ken says, I'm Moyes out. Should have gone on to the final. Fair enough. Absolutely fair enough. I don't not agree, but I'm going to give him the time of day now for 6 or 7 games to see what we're like. If there's no change, then I'll be there as well. But Let's see. Let's see. And the most important thing, how would he say, come on, you irons? You know, will it be come on, you irons? Come on, you irons? What will it be? Let's hope. And the excitement back in the fan base, that's the main thing now. And yeah, I'm gonna dive over and have a little look at his transfer market and have a little look at his stats. So bear with me whilst I have a look. So he's 25 years old. He's 1.87 meters. Let's see what that is in foot. 1.87 meters in feet. So he is, drum roll please, because I've got no idea. He's 6'1", so he ain't a small lad either. So he's 6'1", which is good. Hopefully he can have a bit of physicality in there as well. So let's have a look at last season, shall we? 2022-23. So in the past he's played as the defensive midfielder, just guarding that back line, and he dropped down into centre half at points last season as well. So overall he made 44 appearances for Ajax last season. He scored 4 goals. He had 3 assists on there as well. So that's interesting. So according to Transfer Market, he played 29 games last season in defensive midfield, 3 goals, 2 assists, and he played a huge 15 games at centre back last season. So maybe there's a bit of versatility there with the player as well, that he can drop back into that centre half position if needed to guard that back line or to play there in a more permanent basis. So he's a player that's going to have that versatility about him, that he can adapt, he can play in different positions, which could, in our current position, a couple of injuries, it could massively help us. Let's be honest. But he is a defensive midfielder. 7 goal contributions last year. He played 31 games in the league. He played 4 games in their League Cup as well. He played in the Europa League and in the Champions League. They must have dropped down last year. But yeah, I mean, I haven't really heard a bad word about him. X has just put on Twitter, he's currently checking his phone at 4 a.m. discreetly because he's in Canada, which is mildly amusing. So yeah, hopefully we'll have confirmation from X as well, which will be the big one. Very, 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 very shortly. The geezer is in Canada, so give him a bit of a break. But yeah, I've had a little look at some of his stats and a few things going around, and there's been a comparison to Declan Rice, and he seems to be sort of around the same sort of stat areas, which is positive as well. And I think he's a player, you know, until we see him, you know, I'm going to be honest, I've never seen the geezer play football, but we must have brought the guy in for a reason. Let's hope he's not a donkey. Let's hope he can come in and hit the ground running and really give us a different element, you know, a different dimension to the side, where we've got a midfield that's currently very one-dimensional. You can play a ball straight through, pierce the midfield, and our centre-backs are exposed. Let's hope this player can counteract that, can stop that, and can protect what is a very good back four. We've got a good back four, or we've got a good 2 centre-halves there, but they need protection. And let's hope Alvarez alongside Paqueta and whoever else is going to come in can give them that, because we need a backbone of our side. Our backbone is gone. Rice is gone. We need a backbone, and let's hope Alvarez and Paqueta can come together and form that, and just give us a bit of solidity, give us a bit of composure, give us a bit of strength and sort of depth in that midfield, where we're in desperate need of it. Well, we were sat yesterday after that Leverkusen game, battered 4-0 in our last pre-season game. I'm going to be honest, it looked like a Premier League side versus a League One side. It looked like we were at the start of pre-season. We were dreadful, absolutely dreadful. And I think it all stemmed from the midfield, in my opinion. It all stemmed from the midfield that didn't create anything and didn't support the back line defensively. So they were just sort of in limbo, not really doing too much. Souček wandered around. Downs didn't really do too much. Paqueta didn't have his best game, I didn't think either. He gave away the ball for one of the goals. But the geezer needs help. The geezer can't do it on his own. Paqueta cannot do this on his own. And let's hope Alvarez can give the support that he needs in there as well. Right, let's take some of your comments then. Just hope he is a worker, because he will have to work hard covering for Moyes' Petr Souček in every game. Exactly. Let's hope Moyes has the confidence, because I don't know why, I've got a feeling this is a Steiden signing. I can't really fathom Moyes going out and saying, yes, he's my man. McTominay, I can see Moyes going, yes, that's my man. But I've got a feeling this might be a Steiden signing. And let's hope there's no reluctancy in starting him from David Moyes, because that would be the last thing we need right now. Phil says it's impossible for a player to fail a medical for West Ham, considering the amount of injury-prone players we've had over the years. The deal will hopefully be done in the next few days. Hopefully next 48 hours it could be announced. Bang, player shirt, funky video. Let's get it all done. Let's get it wrapped up and let's get moved on. That is a very good point. I don't think, have we ever had a player fail a medical? I don't know. There was an issue with Ben Rama's medical when he did his, but he seemed to get through it okay. Michael says he's currently on his holidays in Mexico, but will come for a medical. And that started the sort of that started it all off on a good foot, didn't it? Because we heard personal terms were agreed on Saturday, and we heard the player was eager to come, and that's what we want to hear. There's been many players that went, oh God, sod that. And to be fair, I don't blame them the way we play and the way it's been. But it's nice it's refreshing to see a player from a source say, yeah, he's eager to come, he's ready to come, he's ready to get on the flight as soon as the deal's agreed to get the medical done and to get started. Because that's what we like to see. That's what we like to hear from a player. A bit of good mentality. Hunger to get going with his new team, and that's what I like. Very, very good. Very, very good. Can he play in a deep lying defensive striker role? That's where he'll be playing. It'll be like Matt. It'll be like the new Fellaini for Moyes, wouldn't it? Oh dear. But yeah, defensive midfielder predominantly, but can push back into the centre half role as well, which is interesting. Kent says, I want the best for the club. I'll be happy to be proven wrong by Mr. Moyes, but our first 6 are very tough. They are. After that Bournemouth game, it's not good reading, so it's very crucial we get something down by us Southerners on the South Coast on Saturday. That is for sure. 6'2", even better. Why leave it to the last week? Because it's West Ham, and that's what we do. We make things difficult. He's purely a defensive midfielder. He's not dynamic running with the ball, etc. We definitely need another one or 2 midfielders. If you've got 2, Big Tom can go exactly. Or he could be pushed down to the bench and he doesn't have to play every week. Hopefully that'll be what it is, really. Lawrence, thank you very much indeed. Michael says, I think we're going to go back in for the manure rejects. We will. There's no doubt about that. I've got no doubt about it. We'll go back in for McTominay and Maguire. Will we sign them? That's another story. But our interest in those players is most definitely not over. In my personal opinion. Just want to know why Alvarez wants to come. We're dreadful. He must not have watched our last couple of games. I did think that. To be honest, but it's refreshing to see it. I like it. I really do like it. So that's good. So yeah, that is the news of today. A smile on my face for the first time in a while. I didn't think that would happen after that dreadful performance over in Germany over the weekend in pre-season. But let's hope it can give us a bit of positivity, a bit of fight, a bit of desire, a bit of hunger to go on and beat a new and strengthened Andoni Iraola's Bournemouth side on Saturday at the Vitality Stadium. We will have build up to that Bournemouth game coming on the channel over the next few days. We are back. Don't you worry about it. We're back. Opposition previews. I get the Bournemouth fan on Tom to discuss Bournemouth's transfer window and their thoughts ahead of the season and much more. Sean will be back with the Premier League roundup show for another season. I've signed him up. So yeah, of course, there's going to be plenty to discuss with Sean. I'm sure he'll want to discuss the new rules that have been brought in with injury time, with bookings for players kicking the ball away and all of that sort of stuff. That's all to come. We are back. I am back, and it is time to start this new season, and hopefully West Ham can start it on a high. Thanks everybody for commenting and participating in the live chat, and hopefully we can get official confirmation of Edson Alvarez as a West Ham United player in the next few days. That is it from me. Come on, your minds, and we'll see you soon right here on West Ham Unofficial. Thank you very much. See you soon, guys. Bye-bye.